the next part of the program, I'm going to give everybody a little bit of an overview. It's as loud as it goes. I'm going to give everybody a little bit of an overview of this vision and this dream that the holistic health community has that we've held for a very, very long time. Sorry. Held for a very, very long time. So Cornelia spoke a little bit about this campus. And this campus is going to be something very, very special. And we have a number of structures that we've been working on with our architect, Janice Welton, who unfortunately cannot be here tonight. And so I'm going to make my presentation, and then it's interesting how the community work. She sent me a Dropbox of all these slides, and I didn't know exactly what to do with it. So I called on our office manager, Laurie Giordano, who took the Dropbox and put it in a PowerPoint for me. And then we had Justin Pioni, who's the tech person and the projectionist at the Rosendale Theater, come and integrate the laptop and projector and stuff. So that's the way it all happened. Yeah! So the vision we have is to build these energetic buildings, reclaiming the ancient knowledge that our ancestors understood. Buildings were built with very specific proportions, angles, orientations on the land and on the grid lines, facing different constellations, and there was a reason for that. There's patterns in nature and in the universe, and when you align with those patterns, you go closer into being in a coherent field, and a coherent field is a very, very harmonious field. Our body totally understands a coherent field. And when you have a building, or as Cornelia was saying earlier, you go to a sacred site and you do healing work, or you have a class or a meeting there, it's all amplified. On the other side of this serving table, there's a device there called the core harmonizer that we have right now. It's a mix of sacred geometry, sound, and light. And it's actually broadcasting a frequency into this room. And we don't understand it in our mind, but our subtle body totally gets it. And it just amplifies and helps the connections and the cross-pollination. So what Janice has been working on, our architect, our first building in this endeavor we're calling our Holistic Community Center. And it's going to be a meeting place for an event like this, for anybody else who wants to use it. And it's based around the same economics of generosity, and that we're about to launch a fundraiser, our capital campaign. We are looking to acquire or purchase land with either a local landowner or a local farmer, or raise funds so that we can begin to build this campus. This campus that's going to be energetically tuned with regenerative agriculture, which is a type of agriculture that builds soil, increases soil, adds microbial life to the soil, and in that way you can grow nutrient-dense food for people's well-being, for the land's well-being, to boost your immune system so it's more robust. So holistic healing, not just coming and getting a session where you get a massage or acupuncture or all those wonderful things, energy work, but taking it to the next place. Another cornerstone foundation of the food that we eat, and how we tend the land, and how we build community, all under the umbrella of what is holistic health, what is holistic community, and the real aim of it is what are we handing off to the next generations? What is the legacy that we have all come forth in this incredible endeavor? What are we building, and then what are we going to hand off so that the next generations have an opportunity to have a good and healthy life? So these buildings are all in line with that. And I'm just going to go a little bit through Janice's presentation here. Basically in nature, there are all these patterns. If you look at the way flowers, a sunflower or a pine cone, they have these spherical movements. And if you were to see a photo of a hurricane from up at the satellite, around the eye, you see the same pattern. And if you looked at the Milky Way, there are these patterns. And the more you can align with these patterns that nature and the universe use to build everything. The relationship of our fingers to our hand to our arm, are all particular mathematical, called the golden ratio. And that's what the Vitruvian Man, if you know the famous, it's all about those proportions. So all these pieces are already inherent in nature. We're not inventing anything. We're just waking up to remembering how this all is organized and what the patterns are, and the buildings that we're going to attempt to build already exist. We're just going to ground them and bring them into manifestation. All the things we were just talking about, a nautilus shell, a hurricane, a sunflower, all have commonality to them. It's just on different scales and different fractals. This is the phi ratio and also the Fibonacci sequence for how everything gets built and expands. And we're trying to build buildings, which I'll show you in a second, that capture this, our healing sanctuary, which is not in the current phase. We're in our phase 2, which is land acquisition and the building of the holistic community center. Is all based upon the number 9 and the flower of life, and there's very, very specific reasons for that. I won't get into it tonight, and it's really, Janice could go into incredible depth on it, so we'll save some of that. Our sanctuary, which is a little later down the road, is an amazing meeting space, and this is basically the design of it. It's a 9-petal design with a flower of life in the middle. Every bit of it has been scaled and worked to hold these frequencies of certain measurements, proportions, and angles, so that when you're in a space like that, it just amplifies the frequency of it and the coherence of it. This is a rendition of what the healing sanctuary will look at eventually. Janice is an amazing architect, and she's worked with an architectural team. And it looks otherworldly, but it is pulsating and on the land in a way that it's picking up the earth grids and the earth resonances and amplifying it. As ancient Stonehenge and Machu Picchu and the pyramids all did that. And that's why, as Cornelia said, people travel the whole world. It's another view of the sanctuary. And so in this first launching in the spring, our community center is based on a lot of different concepts, and one of them is this whole Atlantean concentric plan of how a building is put together and what energies it embodies. And it's going to look, this is the community center floor plan. It's 3,500 square feet. There's a multi-purpose space in the middle, but if you look at the shape, the circle and the cross, that's in so many different cultures. That kind of shape, and it's going to be a space that we'll utilize, but it's totally going to be a community space. And this is going to be the first venture when we launch our capital campaign to land this building, and Janice is deep in the whole design of it, and that's what it looks like from the outside. And you can just feel the energy of it, and so that is what we are moving towards, and that will be part of that, and how the land is tended, and regenerative farming all around it that's just enhancing the land. It's in a reciprocal relationship. So part of this new way of thinking, this new paradigm we're moving into, the exchange, as happens at our healthcare days, is people get a session and then they make a donation if they can, but if they can't, that's fine. Do some kindness in the world. Pass it on. Spread it out. Let it ripple into the world. That's how we're going to do this. And this, if people have funds or institutions and they want to help support this, it's for the future generations. It's not any longer about return on investment or what's in it for me. That's the old system. The new system is, let's come together and do this, build energetic buildings, tend the land the way it should be tended so it's healthy and productive, and then hand it off to the next generation so they have a deep start in continuing this and stuff. So this is going to be the first building that we intend to put up. And it will be a community building. We'll use it, but it's going to be available for practitioners, community groups, schools, music, dance, plays, whatever wants to happen there. And anything you do in a building like that, because of the design and the proportions and the way it's built, just enhances what takes place there. That's just a section looking through the building, and so that's kind of what we're up to. We've expanded into Kingston. We have a program that George will talk about, our Soil to Soul program. We have outreach that Elena is going to talk about. We have directors of helping us just move into all kinds of different directions. The collaboration tonight with Seasoned Delicious, and not just as bringing us food, but as a partner in the work we're doing at the Seasoned Evolutionary Center and the other organizations, People's Place and YWCA, are all just movements into making this holistic healthcare available to all people. Whether you have the economic means or not, that's not the deciding factor. It's just that you come, you get a session, and then you receive something, you just use the reciprocity to pass it along. And one other building that we're working on is just in the design, and I'm going to let Diana talk about this. Diana, where are you? Is she in the room here?
I call this place the Bathhouse, and it's a compilation of very important and inspiring facets that I've come across in life. One is, it's named the Bathhouse, the center space. Here is what I call the body temple, and it's a space that's inspired by the Turkish hammam. And then I have this entryway leading towards the Bathhouse body temple. One goes through the tea house, and that's highlighting local native herbs. And over here is a community kitchen. It's a teaching kitchen. And then here is Thai massage, a form of massage that comes from Thailand. There's also other massage rooms, some outdoor spaces, a cold plunge and hot tub. So there's a lot going on here, and the intention of the space is to bring people together to create a community bath experience that's involved with also being cared for by another. It's a place for self-connection and self-care, as well as a place to come together, have conversation, learn about healing ourselves or nurturing ourselves through food and through herbs and body work. So it's an education center and community center.
Y'all,
So this is our focus now, and I'm going to hand this off to Elena, who's our Director of Outreach, and she's going to tell a little bit about the programming that we're doing and where we're stretching into other communities, and she'll fill everybody in. So thank you.
thank you, Larry. I might even be able to speak without this. I'm Elena Henneberry, the Director of Outreach for Holistic Health Community. Louder. Hi, everyone. So, you've either already experienced or are now learning about the wonderful work the Holistic Health Community has been doing in the Stone Ridge area for the last 10 years. But in order to further its mission to make holistic healthcare accessible to all, we have launched the Holistic Healthcare to the People initiative, bringing our programming into the city of Kingston. By partnering with organizations that already have a long track record of empowering and supporting communities in Kingston, we have been able to offer holistic healthcare days and evenings, workshops, and other programming through organizations like People's Place. Say hi, Fatima. Fatima is the director of the Wellness Empowerment Center at People's Place. At Seasoned Delicious, or Seasoned Gives, which is the nonprofit sector of Seasoned Delicious. I don't know what the name is. And the YWCA of Ulster County. We also have some new partnerships that we will be entering. Place Corps, which is a gap year program located in Kingston for the students that have recently graduated Kingston High School and have spent half of their high school experience in the pandemic. We will be partnering with them, doing service study work and practical skills, education and workshops. Live Well Kingston Commission, which is through the City of Kingston, is also supporting our work and promoting our work through their programs Heal Well and Grow Well. George will be talking a little bit more about our farming side of things, but with the City of Kingston, we've been talking about working with the community gardens and doing workshops on growing healthy food and how to prepare it. Let's see what else. So we have a lot of really exciting collaborations that have been going on and that we will be entering. And our next event is this Wednesday on April 6th from 3 to 7 at the People's Place Wellness Empowerment Center. And we do have some sessions left open, and we wanted to invite you to sign up for them, first come, first serve, because we want you to see we want you to experience one of our outreach events. And Fatima can sign you up. Can you still do that? She can. After we're all done here, you can go up to her and sign up for your session and enjoy a session this Wednesday. And we are doing. By the way, we're doing People's Place. What are we calling it? The Holistic Healthcare Evenings. Okay, thank you. The first Wednesday of every month. So you can look out for us there. And I really want to invite you, whether you like social media or not, to support us on social media, because we're trying to grow our social media so that we can reach more people locally, so that you all know what we're doing. And so if you could like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram, you will be the first to know about our outreach programs. And of course, get on our email list, because then you can find out about all the different things that HHC is doing. I just also want to thank all of the volunteers and practitioners that have been working with us on this initiative. The feedback from the communities have been so wonderful. And if you're interested in working with us on one of these projects, you can reach out to me, or if you have any ideas of collaboration that you think would be nice, you can also come and speak to me. So I just want to thank you all. It's been such a pleasure to be working with the HHC and kicking off this initiative. So thank you. And I touched on the farming piece a little bit, but I wanted to introduce George Jacobs, who is a practitioner with HHC, a council member, and a passionate gardener and regenerative farmer.
Thank you. Well, we're really moving along here in so many directions, and the presentations that you just saw, especially the buildings, and the idea that we're moving into this. We're just moving into this whole new paradigm, right? We're leaving the old stuff behind and we're moving on. And so one of those movements is in the area of food and nutrition and connection to the earth, that all of us know how valuable that is and how much we need that and how much we don't get enough of it. We can never get enough of it, right? Whether we're out gardening or farming or in the woods or whatever. So So there's two aspects to what we're calling soil to soul. And we literally mean soil to soul. Because we're a holistic health community. Well, how can you be holistic without starting with the soil, right? We're made of soil. Our bodies are literally made of soil. And the green plants that grow in the soil are the ones that capture the energy of the sun and create the food that creates our bodies. So without those little sprouts, you'll see sprouts in the middle of your table there. Those are pea shoots. And without those green things, and without that soil that's in there, we literally would not be here. We would not be sitting here. We would not be, right? So it's like Thich Nhat Hanh talks about interbeing. We are interbeing, and we're living interbeing more and more, even though we've been grown up, taught basically Newtonian physics, but we're now in quantum physics. So we're in a whole new ball game here, right? So how do we bring soil to soul to the people? How do we create this? What do we do? So we're exploring that now. You know, like Larry said, we want to land on some land somewhere. We don't want it to belong to us. We want it to belong to future generations. We don't want to own it, right? So we're trying to figure out how do you not own land, you know? And we want to, we want to do what's now known as regenerative agriculture on this land, and we want to invite people, and some of folks in the room here are farmers and gardeners and agricultural experts and so on. We really need you. We want to talk to you. We want to work these things out. So, so much to do. So exciting and so much to do. So, we are starting very, very small. We're starting with the smallest little thing called mung bean shoots. And recently, Diana did a program in Kingston at the YWCA showing folks how to create mung bean shoots from mung beans, right? Very simple, but it's wonderful because it gives everyone an idea of what it's like to create your own food, create your own nourishment. And so what you see in the middle of the tables here are an experiment that we're doing with pea shoots, and here's the idea, okay? We want everyone to be able to get their hands in the soil. Very important to get your hands in the soil because our internal microbiome is very similar to the microbiome in the soil. And the two of them are really interdependent. And so it's critical to literally get people's hands in the soil. So what we want to do is create a little project that everybody can do, whether they live in an apartment building, whether they, wherever they are, front yard, backyard, if they have a community garden, if they have a farm, whatever it is, we want to be able to figure out how to work with them and how to help create that kind of in the soil environment. So these pea shoots are an idea that we have to bring to everyone that's interested in growing their own food an opportunity to grow their own food 365 days a year. All they need is some pea shoots and a little bit of compost or potting soil, and just a little bit of light, like a window that has a little light coming into it, and water, and that's it. And you can grow these nourishing greens all year long. So we're working on that project, and you're welcome to eat these, by the way. You can just pinch them off and try them. They taste exactly like peas, and they're wonderful. We have expertise in this room in Brian Farmer and Tara, who have actually been in the business of growing pea shoots. So that's one of the projects that we're working on. Now, also on your table, this is This is a birthday party, and at birthday parties you usually get favors. So you're all getting a favor. And the favor that you're getting is a little, some of them are pea shoots, some of them are radishes, some of them are different shoots. So what you do is you take that home and you follow the instructions and you grow shoots, right? And you eat them, you taste them and see if you like them. And then I put my card in most of those things on the bottom, so that what I'd really like to have you do is let me know what your experience has been in growing shoots. I'd really like to find out. I mean, maybe one of your kids will get into it, or your grandkids, or yourself, or whatever, but please give us some feedback on that. So there's something else that I wanted to, something came across my computer. It used to say across my desk, but now it's across my computer. And wrong glasses. So I got, oh, this was a tea tag that I came across this morning, and it's a quote from Rosemary Gladstar. And yeah, it showed up on my tea bag, and it says, "Talking to plants is one way of talking directly to spirit." And I found that to be true. You know, I've been in gardening and, you know, farming for years, and I'm just learning that now. I'm just learning how to talk to plants. And I'm learning how wonderful it is to talk to plants. So I want you all to talk to your shoots when you grow them. Okay. So what's next here? What's that? Chelsea and Patty, yeah, right here. Here we go.
Thank you, George, and thank you, everybody. I can't wait to just sing to my pea shoots. That would be lovely. So, and we had some pea shoots that you gave us, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. They were just so yummy, beautiful, so thank you. So I'm Patty Curry.
And I'm Chelsea Miller.
We make up Curry Miller, and we work with the HHC as consultants. So I personally have had unbelievably good fortune to come to the sessions here in this building and on the phone, and have the benefit of healing from several of you, from Theresa, Nancy Plumer, from Wendy, who blew my mind. Who else here? Suzanne. So, you know, and Chris. Is Chris here? I don't know if Chris Journey is here, but maybe not. Anyways, there's so much here that is offered and that has really enhanced my life. And it's not like I didn't do any of this before I started working for the HHC, but it's just taken on a whole nother level. And we have gotten the opportunity to work with the HHC's council, which has been very wonderful in a different way than any kind of work that I've ever done. And that includes a lot of different kinds of nonprofit organizations as well as, you know, businesses. But and we love all of you for many different reasons, and we're just so fortunate and grateful that we get to work with you.
So let's make this about you. We are so glad you're here, and you're here tonight in part because you have the ability to see what many cannot. You've found that holistic healing isn't new or alternative at all, but rather what we've known all along, what our ancestors knew, that holistic healing is just healing, full stop. You're also here because you have the ability to imagine a new world, a world that is free from pain, rich in nutrient-dense soil and food, and guided by spiritual principles that many care not to look for. A world where resources are not hoarded, but rather shared to uplift the many and not the few. It's
It's a world where we all have the opportunity to live vibrantly. And the good news is, as we've been hearing from everyone else, is that the world is catching up to us. The timeline of humanity has reached a paradigm, and it's shifting. And as George says, we are the ones. You've given your time, your energy, and your talent, and we just want to take a second to thank you, because without you, it would just be holistic health without the community. And it is due to you that we are here tonight celebrating 10 years. Thank you.
So you've heard some of this before, but this year has been a year of expansion in a different way, in which we've taken the show on the road and provided programming to People's Place and the Y and to Seasoned Gives. And we're going to continue to look for places where we can bring this work that it might not be already. And so it won't just be in Stonebridge. It's not. Now we've definitely moved beyond that. So I think I'm going to skip some of this because you guys all handled it so beautifully. So I'm going to skip that whole page. Look at that. So there you go.
Well, okay, I'm going back to the page. Okay. Just for a moment. Because I think what's important is that when we started working with Holistic Health Community, I think what we also saw was this desire for outreach and connecting to new communities. And we looked at this for two programs. One was the Holistic Healthcare to the People, which is expanding, and one is for the Soil to Soul. And this is a very strategic choice on our part.
Right.
Because basically, as the directors of development, we are charged with the fantastic, terrifying, exciting task of getting that sanctuary here. And so to do that, we really had to take a step back and say, okay, how are we going to build that foundation? How are we going to get the momentum going to carry us there? And so they say that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And the first step is the acquisition of land. We're looking to raise roughly half the cost of the land and a third of the cost of the Community Operations Center by the end of 2022. It's going to take us all, but we believe it's possible all together. So for those of you who might not know, the Campus of Possibility is going to be home to a constellation of buildings dedicated to holistic healing, nestled, as you've heard, beside this regenerative farm. And now we can skip this part, and I feel better.
Oh, wait.
The center will be constructed, as you've seen, according to the principles of sacred geometry, and serve not only as a hub for the holistic health community, but also a place for all who are aligned to gather, grow, learn, and practice together. Concurrent with the construction of the Holistic Health Center, the foundations for the regenerative farm will be put in place. And if I know Larry and George, I'm fairly sure that regenerative farming will begin as soon as the greenhouses are up.
Okay, so it's our hope that with your help, our collective signal steps will send out the vibration into the world. And I don't know, where's Larry? I can't see him, but thanks, Larry. Whatever that machine is over there, which I'm feeling it, baby. But no, I think that with your wonderful energy and what you've already done, so many of you, in terms of your participation and your time, talent, and money that you have contributed to this organization is really stunning. I need my last thank you. So we are going to invite you to participate. We're not going to ask you to take out your checkbook, so don't worry about that. But if you feel moved, we'd love to hear your thoughts. I mean, that's our next step, really, and that means all of us. Not like we think we're on the council, we're not, but we believe that we're part of this organization. So please, talk to the council, talk to me or to Chelsea or Elena, and let us know your thoughts and how you'd like to get involved. So we'd just love to deepen this conversation with you if that's something you'd like to do. And congratulations to the Holistic Health Community for 10 years of beauty. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I didn't know who that was.
I don't know how you were feeling, but I'm feeling great. Can you hear me? Okay. What about now? Well,
So did we turn it off? Oh,
Still
it's
on.
on, the light is
I
shining.
don't know why. Anyway, doesn't matter, you're gonna hear me. It's time for dessert. So there is garbage here if you'd like to empty. There's gonna be a tray for your forks, which are not, and cutlery, which are not to be thrown away. And enjoy dessert, and let's start the opposite way this time. This table, please go for dessert.